Let's talk about something that's on the mind of so many parents and teachers, that nagging worry about a child who seems to be struggling. We're going to flip the script on that whole conversation, moving away from labels that don't help and into a way of thinking that actually empowers everyone. All right, let's get into it.
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? It's the one that can give you that pit in your stomach. You look around, you see other kids, and that little voice starts whispering, "Is my child okay? Are they keeping up?" It's such a common fear, but how we react to it, well, that changes everything.
And that's really the heart of what we're talking about today. Slapping a label like low IQ on a child, it's not just wrong, it's a dead end. It feels like an answer, but it's really just shutting a door. We're here to talk about how to open those doors instead.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into why these labels are so unhelpful. Then, we'll get into the good stuff, the practical strategies. We're going to talk about how to pinpoint the real issue, how to adapt your approach, why you need to see the whole kid, and finally, we'll cover the parent's role, which is, absolutely massive.
Okay, first up, let's tackle the problem with labels. Because before we can build something better, we've got to understand why the old way of thinking just doesn't work. So, what is this low IQ label, really? Well, it's a massive oversimplification. It takes a unique, complicated little human and tries to squeeze all their challenges into one tiny misleading box. But life and learning is just so much more complex than that.
A child's performance on any given day isn't some fixed number. It's a mix of so many different things. Think about it. Are they struggling with focus? How are they feeling emotionally? Do they feel safe and secure? Is the way they're being taught a good fit for how they learn? Heck, even how much sleep they got last night plays a huge role. None of this is about some unchangeable intelligence.
Okay, so if throwing a label on the problem doesn't work, what does? Well, that brings us to our next part. We need to pinpoint and adjust. This is all about getting out of that vague state of worry and into a place where we can actually solve things.
The very first thing to do is get specific, really specific. Instead of just thinking, my child is slow, you've got to ask, what is the actual gap here? Maybe they understand things perfectly but have a tough time explaining their ideas. Or maybe they can talk your ear off but struggle to focus on one task. See? Finding that precise challenge is the only way you can find the right solution.
And this right here shows you just how powerful that shift is. Look at the left side. Those are the kinds of thoughts that just crush a kid's spirit, right? Be like everyone else. Get good grades. It's so frustrating. But now look at the right. We go from get good grades to let's just try one new problem. That's a win. That's how you build confidence, one tiny step at a time.
And that leads us perfectly into our next idea. We have to adapt our approach. Once you know the specific challenge, you can't just keep doing the same old thing. You've got to find the right key for your child's particular lock. Teaching is not a one-size-fits-all deal. If a kid struggles with abstract ideas, don't just talk at them. Use pictures, use blocks, let them get their hands dirty. Repetition can work wonders. But maybe the most important thing here? That stable emotional support. Creating a space where it's okay to try and even okay to get it wrong. And giving that positive feedback, that's a total game changer. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Because helping a child isn't just about hammering away at their weaknesses. It's about finding and celebrating their strengths. So we need to broaden the horizon. This is so important. A kid's entire worth, their entire future, is not summed up by a report card. Every single child has something amazing in them. Our job isn't to fix them, it's to be a detective and find out where their unique potential really shines.
And that potential can pop up in all sorts of places. So maybe they're not a math whiz, but are they an amazing artist? Do they come alive on the soccer field? Maybe they're the one who can figure out how any gadget works, or they're just incredibly kind and empathetic. Building up these strengths builds up their sense of who they are, and that's just as crucial as any homework assignment. Broadening the horizon also means knowing when to call for backup. And let me be clear, seeking professional help is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of incredible strength and advocacy. Things like special education programs or IEPs, they're not punishments. There are amazing tools designed to give your child the exact support they need to succeed.
All right, this brings us to our last section. And honestly, it might be the most important one of all. Because all these strategies we've talked about, they all rely on one thing, the parent's crucial role.
Just let that sink in for a minute. Your attitude, your beliefs about your child, your words, they literally shape your child's reality. The way they see themselves is so often just a reflection of how they think you see them.
And really, that's what it all boils down to. That quote says it all. The tiny shift from I can't to I can, I just need a little more time, that's everything. It's the difference between a kid who gives up and a kid who learns to persevere. So the real question isn't, is my child smart enough? It's, how can I help my child truly believe that they can?